All right, so I just want to start off by saying that this journey to Definitive and Definitive Evo has taken, I would say, the better part of 6 8 months, almost a year, to get to where we're at. So Sarah's been a busy beaver getting us to where this is at, and there's been a lot of things in the background to make this happen that you won't see, but the output is again super exciting and engaging, and that's what we're here to experience now. The latest release, which was 3.19, came out last week, and it's probably our biggest release. And what I mean by that is it includes Evo. So Definitive will now become Definitive Evo. We'll start to reference Definitive as Definitive Evo. So this is a two-part release. So anybody on the call today just needs to know you've been through the first part, which is the 3.19. You'll probably see some hot fixes and so forth. And please come to the engagement webinar later because we're talking a little bit about that. But you'll also then have the next section, which will be this Evo update. Now, Sarah will talk a little bit about this. This is not a big bang. This is not like a normal release or upgrade where, tomorrow you'll do this. What we're going to do is going to roll it out gradually. So the experience is as best as it can be for our customers. And there is a bit to do, but again, we're going to take you through that piece by piece, and you're in good hands, right? So the thing you need to take away here is it's a two-part release. The second part of the release will come in the next number of weeks, and you'll be allocated. You'll get a phone call, you'll get an email, a couple of things will happen. We just need you to do some admin with us, and then we'll get on to making a phone call and getting you as part of that second part of the release. And it's super important that you follow through because your users will be logging into a new environment. That's the best way probably to explain it, which will be Definitive Evo. Okay, so we'll cover these things off. Don't stress, we'll make sure you're covered, right? And with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass it over to Sarah. And Sarah's just going to cover off a couple things around that. So you'll probably hear this a few times in the next coming weeks. So over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Just want to, so in terms of the Evo rollout, we started some time back and we had a small group of pilot customers who went on the journey with us to have a look at a sneak peek of what was to come. And out of that, that was a mixture of customers that came on that ride with us. And from that, they will be rolled out first. So they'll be the first cabs off the rank. They will start to be rolled out in the next few weeks. So I think we're starting probably in the next week or so, and we'll be reaching out to those pilot customers very shortly. After that, we'll have two particular cohorts. So and it really depends on how you currently log into Definitive. So if you log into Definitive, you're not using a company single sign-on, so you've basically got your own username and password that you've set up. You'll be in cohort 1. So anyone who's not using a company single sign-on, you'll be in cohort 1. So they'll be the first group to roll out. And basically, and then cohort 2 will be anyone who's using a company single sign-on. So your own company has their own provider. We have that configured, and basically it logs you straight into Definitive. So that's cohort 2. You will come after cohort 1. And this is all for Australian customers, just to be clear on that. And then, so once we're ready, what we're going to do is we'll send out a communication, obviously, to the cohort that we're managing. In question, and we'll include a form for you to nominate who your Evo administrator will be. And then sales will follow up with a call just to discuss which package you want to take up. So everybody will get our base package. That will happen automatically, but there are other options available. Our standard obviously comes with feeds and Copilot and the analytics piece, so we'll talk through some of that, I think, later in the slide deck. And then so during or with sales, basically they'll also look and ask you to nominate a cutover date. So there's a couple of things we're going to need from you. One is for you to nominate who your Evo administrator is going to be. So that will be something you can do from the email. There will be a form that will be provided in a link in there for you to make sure that you nominate your Evo administrator. Your Evo administrator, which is either normally a payroll administrator or an IT person, will be the key person who will manage the Evo platform and the roles and access to the various products and analytics that are going to be available to you. And then the other thing is the cutover date. So each customer will be able to nominate a cutover date, because anyone who is actually logging into Definitive currently not using a company single sign-on, when you move over, you will need to set up your new login credentials into the Definitive Evo platform, and you won't be able to log into Definitive until you do so. So we want to make sure that you've had an opportunity to think about what's the right cutover date for you, taking into account obviously payroll processing days, and the sales guys will discuss with you obviously what suits you, and we will use that date as the option. So prior to cutover, what we would ask is that you start to communicate early with your users, especially if you're currently not using a company single sign-on, and just let them know that obviously on the cutover date, they'll need to look out for an email invite to the Definitive Evo experience that will walk them through. It'll have an embedded link. It'll walk them through the entire process of how to set up their member account. So they'll just need to do that. And then if you are using company sign-on, then there is actually a little bit of preparation work before we cut you over. And obviously we just need to, again, configure your company single sign-on information into the Definitive Evo platform. So a few things that we will need to do. We will work with each cohort individually as we go through this, so don't worry too much. We'll try and communicate as much as possible. Just know that it will come from an email initially. Do think about who your Evo administrator is going to be. That's going to be very, very important. Make sure all your users have up-to-date email addresses in the Definitive system if they don't already. And then just think about your cutover date. I think those are probably the things that come from that. Thank you.
That was amazing. Look, I think, look, it says as easy as 1, 2, 3, right? So Sarah did cover off a lot. Well, obviously she'll be back in these sessions. She is our subject matter expert, as we call her. So she's going to be along for the ride with this. But look, again, out of this, just look either for an email to come. You'll also, it could be in your junk mail as well. So please check that. We'll also get your sales rep, as Sarah said, to call you to start this journey, right? So I think, you're in good hands. That's the first step. Once you get that started, the next things will start to come naturally. Now, I've seen a couple of articles. I've seen a video that Sarah's cut or that's been cut. I mean, I've watched it, and I'm the most ignorant person in the room, and I followed it. So I know you guys will. So
I was just gonna jump in there.
I tested it on you specially, Steve.
When the dumbest guy in the room gets it, I think we're good.
I was just going to ask on behalf of our listeners, or attendees here, what sort of time do you think it'll take for someone to set up their new username and their new member account in through this process? What sort of?
Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think it's important to sort of understand. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it's one time set off, right? So it's only one time. Once you've done that, they will have a new username and password. And basically the username is going to be their email address, right? So that doesn't change. It's really just setting up a new password, because we need to, obviously, we're not going to be copying passwords or any of that over. So that's all it is. And then from there on, they'll be just using their new login after that.
Cool. So when we think about it, it's like just a bigger update to Definitive compared to normal updates that basically just roll out.
100%. Yeah.
Access to more features and a scalable area where we're going to continue to add features over the coming months and a couple of years, probably at least, as we move this stuff out.
So from a payroll person, I should be excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's some good analytics in there already to help payroll users really in particular.
Yeah.
Rostering and time and attendance will be coming shortly. So watch this space.